For months, fans around the world have been waiting for this moment, the day when Yaman would finally speak. After endless speculation, rumors, and emotional theories about his silence, the truth has finally come out, and it's far more intense, far more human, than anyone could have imagined. When Yaman vanished from the spotlight for weeks, people began to ask, what happened to him? He wasn't posting on social media, he skipped several major events, and his public appearances in Italy became rare. Some thought he was working on a secret project. Others whispered that something had broken inside him, that he was fighting battles the public could never see. And then, after months of silence, he finally decided to speak. The confession he made wasn't to a magazine or a TV host. It was during a private interview, recorded in Rome, where he opened up for the first time about fame, love, betrayal, and the loneliness behind the glamour. Ken started calmly, but there was something different in his tone. It wasn't the confident star we usually see. It was a man who had lived too much, lost too much, and was finally ready to tell his side of the story. People think they know everything about me, he began. They see the photos, the headlines, the gossip. But they don't see what happens when the cameras turn off. He talked about how fame, while glamorous from the outside, often feels like a cage, one built not by others, but by expectations. You're expected to be perfect, he said. Every gesture, every word becomes a headline. And when you fall in love, it's no longer yours, it belongs to the world. That one sentence made fans stop breathing. Because everyone knew who he was talking about. Demet Özdemir. The woman with whom he shared one of the most powerful on-screen and off-screen connections in Turkish television history. For years, their chemistry had fueled rumors, heartbreaks, and millions of fan edits across the globe. But both had chosen silence. Until now. When asked directly if he regretted how things ended, Ken paused. His eyes looked down, and for a moment, it felt like time stopped. Then he said quietly, "You can't regret something that was real. You can only miss it." Those 7 words, "you can only miss it," spread like fire across social media. Fans cried, journalists replayed the clip in slow motion, and even people outside the Turkish drama world couldn't look away. For the first time, Ken wasn't acting. He was feeling. He admitted that his silence wasn't about arrogance or indifference. It was about protection. When you love someone deeply and lose them publicly, you don't heal by talking, he said. You heal by staying quiet. You protect what's left of it, the memories, the respect, the moments that were real. The world was stunned. Here was a man everyone thought had moved on, filming international projects, traveling between Italy and Turkey, smiling for cameras, and yet, behind all that, he was still haunted by something he never fully said goodbye to. The interviewer, trying to tread carefully, asked if he still followed Demet's life. Ken smiled faintly. You never stop caring about someone who changed your story, he said. But caring doesn't mean interfering. It means wishing them peace, even if it's not with you. That sentence alone broke hearts worldwide. Because it wasn't a celebrity soundbite, it was something every human who has ever lost someone they loved could understand. He went on to talk about the pressure of being constantly linked to people he never dated, how the media often turned friendship into romance, and how he learned to protect his emotions from the noise. The truth is, he said, sometimes silence says more than words ever could. And yet, as the interview went deeper, it became clear that his silence had also been his burden. For the first time, Ken admitted that there were nights he couldn't sleep. Nights when he replayed old conversations, photos, and moments that once felt infinite. He said, "You think time heals everything. It doesn't. It just teaches you to live with it." He didn't name Demet again, but when the interviewer asked about forgiveness, whether he had forgiven those who hurt him, his voice trembled slightly. Forgiveness is not about others, he said. It's about freeing yourself from what's already gone. And then, almost whispering, he added, "There are things I could say, but I won't. Because some stories deserve silence more than exposure." The reaction to that line was explosive. Fans flooded social media with theories. Some believed he was referring to a private promise he and Demet once made. Others thought he was protecting her reputation. Whatever the reason, one thing became certain: this was not a scripted interview. It was real, raw, and painful. He spoke about his mother, too, about how she was his anchor through the hardest moments. "When people judged me, she reminded me who I am," he said. "When I doubted myself," she said, "if you were wrong, you wouldn't be hurting this much." It was clear that Ken had reached a point where he was no longer trying to please the world. He wanted to be understood, not as a star, but as a man. Later, when the interviewer asked if he still believed in love after everything, his answer stunned everyone. "Yes," he said. "But real love is not about possession or perfection. It's about presence, and sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is walk away." Those words hung in the air like a confession, a closure, and a prayer all at once. The interview ended quietly. No dramatic music, no scripted farewell. Just Ken standing up, thanking the crew, and walking away, his eyes glistening but calm. After it aired, reactions poured in from all over the world. In Italy, fans left hundreds of comments like "he spoke from the heart" and "finally, the truth we've been waiting for." In Turkey, hashtags like #Yaman confession and #the truth revealed trended for hours. And in Spain, fans translated his words into emotional tributes, calling it the most honest moment of his career. But perhaps the most emotional reaction came from Demet herself. She didn't post anything directly, but just hours after the interview, she shared a single line on her Instagram story. "Some truths don't need to be spoken to be felt." The internet exploded. Was it a response to Ken's confession? Was it coincidence? Or was it her way of saying, "I heard you"? No one knew. But the timing was undeniable. For days, the world couldn't stop talking about it. Analysts called it the most vulnerable moment in Turkish celebrity culture. Fans called it the closure everyone needed. And yet, beneath all the noise, there was something poetic about it: two people who once loved each other deeply, now standing miles apart, finally finding peace in silence. Ken's words at the end of the interview summed it up best. "Life isn't about winning or losing in love. It's about learning to love in ways that don't destroy you." That line became iconic overnight, printed on fan posters, quoted in articles, and even used in edits that spread across TikTok and Instagram Reels. In the following days, Ken returned to work, shooting new scenes for his upcoming project, smiling more naturally, appearing lighter, freer. Maybe speaking out had finally released him. Maybe silence had served its purpose. Whatever the case, one thing became clear: this wasn't just an interview. It was a turning point. A man who had carried the weight of fame, heartbreak, and public scrutiny finally let the world see him, not as an actor, but as a human being. And that's why the world was shocked. Not because of scandal or gossip, but because, for once, truth felt real again. Because when Yaman finally broke his silence, he didn't just reveal secrets. He revealed his soul.